The long winter is over. It's time to see what these youngsters have got to give us in the Champions of the Future Euro Series 2023 season opener, the first final of our competition here at the Cartódromo Lucas Guerrero in Chiva, near the beautiful ancient city of Valencia. And what an exciting battle the OK Junior final is going to give us. So far, it has been about two incredible young men who will now fight for supremacy. Thibaut Ramaekers, fresh from Friday qualifying, has been the fastest all the way through. 5 heat wins, fastest in this morning's warm-up, and second place in the superheat. This is the opportunity that Thibaut Ramaekers has been waiting for to step out of the shadows and into the limelight. His opponent on the front row of the starting grid for Kart Republic, Stepan Antonov, has been mighty over the course of this weekend, has really been able to channel supreme one-lap pace, and now he has a great chance to surge his way forward at the start of an incredible race. I'm going to get in there and see if I can have a quick word with Stepan Antonov. Stepan, this is going to be an interesting one for you from the outside of the front row, but you have started from here so far this weekend and made it work. What are the tactics going into the first lap?
Yeah, I know how to start from the outside. I just want to take the lead and go in front, the way in the way.
Now, looking at the way that the tyres have worked over the course of the weekend, you guys have plenty of data to take into it, but it's hotter now than it was yesterday. How do you think that's going to play a factor?
They're working very well in these conditions, so we have to go fast.
Fantastic. Thanks, Stepan.
Thank you.
It's a simple strategy, but obviously it has to actually come together, and all of the data has to make sense. Lewis Wherrell, third position on the starting grid, the British driver for the Forza Racing Team, very much ready for an exciting battle, and his focus cannot be shaken ahead of this one as he gears himself up ready for the start on the inside of the second row of the grid. And he lines up alongside the man who leads the Sodikart factory charge, Kirill Dzitiev. Number 4 is in P4 as he gets himself ready from the outside of the second row. But he can win from there. He has plenty of opportunities and some great battles still to come. The Italian, 5th position on the grid, Filippo Sala for the Sodikart Racing Team. He has a great shot at moving his way forward. And from the inside line of that third row, he has plenty of overtakes up his sleeve. There could be a very strong run to the podium, and it could even be the top step. The Sodikart team have been working tirelessly to get their product up to the sharp end. For the Ward Racing Team, also on a Sodikart, Elliot Kaczynski. This year he has really stepped it up a gear, and now he is ready to go forward. 6th on the grid, outside of the third row. He has a real strong shot at the top spot. There are so many contenders behind them, though, who also want to make a really good play of this. 7th position on the starting grid. On the inside of the 4th row, the name's Bondarev, Alexander Bondarev. The Kart Republic star from Ukraine has bounced back in majestic style this weekend, fighting his quarter for an amazing run to the line yesterday, and now he has a chance to move even further up the field. Over on the other side of that starting row of the grid, 8th position on the grid, the Austrian Niklas Schaufler for DPK Racing on the Alonso kart. This is the home territory for the team, and Niklas Schaufler really wants to open his account in Champions of the Future in 2023 with a win. There's every chance for the Austrian to make it happen. The battles continue down the field, and they'll all want to push forward. 9th on the starting grid is the Colombian for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Salim Hanna has had a great weekend so far, right up in the top 10, never outside of it in terms of raw pace. And the Colombian now has a great shot to move his way further forward. But the battles will continue. For the Energy Corse team, the Belgian talent Dries Van Langendonck is going to be lining up 10th on the starting grid. But there is an attitude of great battles and great camaraderie here at the circuit. Dries Van Langendonck in relaxed mode, getting himself ready as he chills with Zach Drummond and Noah Wolf in the shade. It is a very intense race day here for the final, because of course it is now hotter here this weekend at this point of the race than it has been for any other part of the weekend. So it is now, air temperature is climbing all of the time. Kian Fardin for Switzerland, for the Kart Republic team, is in a very good position as well. Again, on that inside line of the 6th row of the grid, nothing but progress can be made from that particular quarter of the grid. And being on the inside line of the grid gives him a great chance off the start. If he moves forward quickly, anything can happen from there. The Scottish talent alongside him on the grid, Zach Drummond of Parolin. He had a fantastic end to the 2022 season. The progress was immense from the Parolin team, and this delightful young Scot who carries the Saltire on the top of his helmet. The 5-minute board goes up as the drivers are getting themselves ready for the action ahead. And great to see that there is a great atmosphere of anticipation and eagerness as they continue to battle away. But there are so many talents on this starting grid that are going to work their way further forward. The American talent, Jack Iliffe, for the Parolin Motorsport team, looking very hungry for success in this one. He has a great shot from that particular position on the starting grid, and he just keeps on getting better as the weekend progresses. Now in the final, he really has a great chance to shine. But it's not going to be enough for the drivers further back to stay where they are. They want to charge forward. Scott Lindblom, the Swedish talent for the Tony Kart Factory team, and his teammate Alpak Soy are going to be trying to charge their way further forward as well. And even Davide Battaro is in the mix there as they continue to make progress. So many big talents in this one. 4 minutes to go till the start of the final. So many questions. Will it be Ramaekers versus Antonov, or will their eagerness to psych out the other give them too much to do? Up to the commentary box, where Ville Virtanen is alongside Anthony Jordan.
Thank you very much, Jake. Yes, as you can imagine, the tension down on the dummy grid, or on the grid, is palpable, and we're very much looking forward to this one. Stay tuned throughout the afternoon. It is going to be a fabulous 2 races. We're about to witness the sun is shining. The temperature has soared. It's 23 degrees, and we are ready to go racing. Like Jake was saying down there, of course, this is going to be a tricky one that we're going to see out there. What are your main predictions that you think we're going to see? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I would have to say Antonov.
Yeah?
But, hard to say. Ramaekers has been extremely fast the whole weekend, but I would say Antonov, but we'll have to see what happens. And now they all have new tires, so that also affects it. The track condition has been really strange compared to, not strange, but different what they usually have been used to. So I think some of the guys who actually are usually pretty fast when there's hard grip have been a little bit struggling this weekend.
Yeah, definitely so. There is a look at the track, though. 1,428 meters. It's a clockwise direction. Like we say, the weather, 23 degrees. The wind has died down, which is lovely, and I think the drivers are appreciating that as well. It's a fairly long run down in towards turn 1, and like we've seen over the course of the weekend, the inside line has worked better. So Antonov, who's starting on the outside row, like we say, has got that drama to deal with, the same as Dzitiev as well. Wherrell, though, who's one of the most popular ones going into this one, I think, who's also starting on that inside row, I reckon, has also got a good advantage.
Yeah, the inside is good, but also I've seen a couple of like really nice starts from the outside, but that also depends on. Then you have to go for it. If you just decide to go outside, then you have to keep it. But Louis Wherrell has been good in the starts. Yeah,
he has indeed. Look back a little further in the order. This is the 5th row you're looking at. 9th and 10th place, Dries Van Langendonck and Salim Hanar. Again, 2 other drivers who have been right up at the sharp end throughout the start of this one. But Thibaut Ramaekers, he's had a perfect weekend, apart from, of course, the super heats that he just had earlier on where he lost out to Louis Wherrell. But again, a driver there who's got the commitment and the talent, and he knows the circuit. Now with those fresh tyres, has got the option to potentially take this one to the flag. Yeah,
but you have to be really quick in the first 2 laps, because when the line goes too long, then the opportunity just grows, smaller and smaller. So the first 2-3 laps are going to be critical for the guys now.
Yes, it will be indeed. That'll be coming up in just a moment. Jake Sanderson back in the commentary box now. Thank you very much for joining us in that one. But again, this is going to be a challenge as Jake gets himself all sorted out. A lot of the drivers have worked hard all the way throughout this weekend as the, I believe, 1 minute board goes up now on the front. Can't see it. When he turns around, we will see it. And there it is. It's the 1 minute board that is being shown. Very much looking forward to this one. Jake, lots of names, lots of talent, and we've seen a lot of race winners in this one. Now they're all battling against each other. Only one can come out on top.
And this is the thing, there is still so much of an air of expectancy. The 2 drivers that have set the pace all the way through, Thibaut Ramaekers and Stepan Antonov, they're the favourites coming into this one, but they've not really had the chance to have a proper wheel-to-wheel duel yet. Yeah. That's going to be the interesting factor. If they can come into this one with their eyes wide open, they're both going to give as good as they've got. However, you've also got Lewis Wherrell, straight off the back of that superheat earlier on today. He's got the focus now, and he knows he can beat Thibaut in a straight fight, so he's going to be giving it gung-ho. Kirill Dzitiev, I don't think he's given us everything he's got yet. I think he's saved a little bit in reserve for the final. He could have a really strong charge forward. Filippo Sala, Elliot Kaczynski, Alex Bondarev, Niklas Schaufler, some big names there that could really go for this one as we get ourselves ready for the OK Junior final. The first in the OK Junior category in Champions of the Future Euro Series as the mechanics push the drivers off, and Elliot Kaczynski's got a problem on the push start. So Elliot Kaczynski trying to get away. But this could be a problem. Thibaut Ramaekers and Stepan Antonov, Lewis Wherrell and Kirill Dzitiev from Filippo Sala and Elliot Kaczynski, Alexander Bondarev and Niklas Schaufler, Salim Hanna and Dries Van Langendonck from Kian Fardin and Zach Drummond, Jack Iliffe and Scott Lindblom, David Bataro and Noah Wolf from Tame Saleh and Christian Costoya, Alfie Slater and Roman Kamyab, then Jacopo Martinese and Alpak Soy, Noah Monteiro, Vivek Kanthan, Scott Marsh, Ralph and Tharden, Guy Albag, Sebastian Letimaki, Arjen Krailing and Hugo Marti, Marianito, Sebastian Mins, Jindro Basil, Nikita Nikishov, Augustus Toniolo and Alphonse Mittinen.
Elliot Kaczynski did get away, so he's fine. He's still in this one.
That is good to hear.
He just needs to get into the order, though, because he's right at the back of the order at the moment, so he needs to fall back into position.
Well, he's going to be working on that as soon as he possibly can. As long as he can get there before the red line, then he's okay. But certainly for Elliot Kaczynski, this is not the start to the final he wanted. Now, the big question is going to be, who's going to have the overall pace over an 18-lap final, the longest race of the weekend for these juniors? Who's going to have the upper hand? Is it going to be Thibaut or Stepan?
Well, this is the thing. Thibaut's got the exclusive thing. He's had the pressure of being at the front all the way throughout this weekend. He knows how to control the tyres. He knows how to control the pace. That's going to be the crucial one. He starts on pole for this one. We know he's good on that inside line. We know he's got the momentum around turn one. It's just, I reckon he's got the best shot on this one. I reckon Thibaut, could just walk away with this one.
It's all going to come down to whether Stepan can unlock the same sort of pace that he found in the superheat, because there were times when Stepan Antonov was going 0.4 of a second quicker per lap than some of his counterparts. It's going to be a real dogfight between Ramaekers and Antonov, the VDK Racing Team versus the Kart Republic factory outfit. And this would be a big scalp for VDK if they can take one off the factory team. And that would leave Chiesa's boys just a little bit smarting, but obviously they'll still take it as a win. But it's a tricky one. It always has that little bit of perpetual motion. But then you've got the OTK group right behind on that second row. Lewis Wherrell, for me, is now hungry. He knows he can win, so he's going to be pushing for it harder than ever. Dzitiev in the Tony Kart. They always have the strength and resilience. But are they going to be able to convert that into a win? And then, of course, you've got Sala and Kaczynski. Kaczynski is not back into his original position, so he's going to have to go from the back of the grid. Here we go, up to the start, and we are not racing. No. We're going round again, so that's a good thing for Elliot Kaczynski. He can fight his way back into position now. Yeah,
he can. I think it was a little bit of nerves that crept in there, and I think Thibaut Ramaekers very eager to get the race underway. Everyone else, not so much, so they will go round again. And Kaczynski is slowing and coming to a stop.
Oh, I don't believe it!
Elliot Kaczynski out of the final.
I don't believe it! Elliot Kaczynski is stopping on the formation lap. The Swede, who was due to start on the third row, is out before the race has even got underway. That is devastating for Elliot Kaczynski.
Oh, and he runs back to the pit lane, doesn't even go to a marshal point. And that's a disaster.
What horrible timing for Elliot Kaczynski, who runs back to the pits. You're actually supposed to stand out on marshal post 3, so that could come back to bite him again as well. But poor Elliot Kaczynski, he's sick to his stomach right now.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see at the start of a final.
Well, there's one driver gone from the fray. And that is bitterly, bitterly disappointing for Elliot Kaczynski. All of that potential, all of that promise, and we'll never know just how strong he would have been in this final. And I think he really would have played a part in the battle for the victory as well. So now the rest of the contenders come through. Ramaekers and Antonov on that front row of the grid. From Wherrell, Dzitiev, Sala, Bondarev, Schaufler, Hanna, Van Langendonck. Are we going to go racing this time? No.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do go racing.
We are green.
Yes, we are green. So up to the first corner. And it's a great start from the number 55. Ramaekers holds on in front of Antonov. A couple of drivers taken to the grass, but Antonov storms through. Antonov takes the lead from Ramaekers. Then he overshoots. Ramaekers coming through. There's a big incident of the chicane behind them, but Ramaekers steals back the lead just in the nick of time from Antonov, as 5 to 6 karts are all embroiled in this one. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, it was all in the mid-pack. It started with Noah Wolf, and then it's Thames Soleil, Christian Costoya, Slater, Kamiab, Martinez as well. All of them involved.
Well, we haven't really had a huge pile-up over the course of the weekend at that chicane, but now we get one at the final, and that's Soleil, Costoya, Slater, who does get going again, Kamiab, Albag, Marty, Mins, and Pazel all out of the race, but now it's game on for Antonov, who is trying his best to charge forward and get back on terms with Thibaut Ramaekers. Then Wherrell, Sala, Schaufler, Dzitiev, Van Langendonck, and Hanna has round the outside. Wherrell defends from Sala.
Yeah, that was good stuff from Wherrell. Holds that inside line. Crucially, though, it's looking dangerous at the front because Antonov is seriously closing the gap. Thibaut Ramaekers has been solid all weekend. He struggled in the superheat, but the final could be the one for him. But that gap is slowly creeping down. There is Thibaut Ramaekers in the race lead. The gap is effectively non-existent. 0.3 of a second from himself and Stepan Antonov. Lewis Wherrell, though, still there in third place, is holding off the Sodikart driver Filippo Sala, who is trying his very best to hold off the drivers. Also behind him, Niklas Schaufler and Kirill Dzitiev, who didn't get a great getaway. He drops down into P5 at the start of this one. But as they come into the final chicane once again, this is the closest Antonov has been for another attack. Down into the slipstream he goes, in towards turn 1. This time around, not close enough. Stays there.
There's an investigation into the start for Niklas Schaufler, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
That is a big scalp as Noah Monteiro makes his bid on Davide Battaro and gets through. So a nice comeback from the Portuguese driver so far. Let's look at the replay of the start, and we'll see what happened. Look at Antonov. Antonov is going to go the long way round, swing it down, and look, he manages to carry the pace around the outside, tucks back in behind Ramaekers, and watch as he dives in straight away into third corner, but then he drifts out wide at the chicane, and that's where it all opens up. So Ramaekers tries his best and then comes straight back at him. There's a little bit of wheel banging, and that's critical. Ramaekers able to take back the lead, but then so many drivers bit the dust. Kaczynski already out, then Soleil, Costoya, Kamiab, Albag, Marty, Mins, and Pazel.
Thames Soleil, warning flag. Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. Jake. Getting my names all mixed up.
No worries.
The number 67, what a disaster for him. 5-second time penalty in the final.
Well, he was already out of the race anyway.
Yeah.
But Antonov now trying to make his bid to close back up on Ramaekers. Then Wherrell, Sala, Dzitiev, Schaufler, Van Langendonck, and Zach Drummond. Some great moves made up so far. 9 places made up by Noah Monteiro. 13 made up by both Augustus Toniolo and Alphonse Mittinen. So some big storms through the field already at this early stage.
Yeah, good to see. And there you can see the not-so-friendly fan club in the infield after that coming together at turn 1. Big disaster there. So we're on lap 4 at the moment. And like we say, Thibaut Ramaekers still leads the way by 0.3 of a second from Stepan Antonov. It's looking very close between the two of them, but crucially, they are maintaining that gap at the moment. It's not extending as far as we'd like to see, as far as Thibaut Ramaekers would like to see. He wants to extend that gap to about 5-10 seconds. At the moment, though, only 0.4 of a second, so still very, very close. Crucially, though, Sala is, I think, under pressure now from Dzitiev. He's dropped from the back of Wherrell.
Wherrell isn't done yet, though. Wherrell is still within a second of the leader, so this is going well for Lewis Wherrell. He sets a fastest lap, 56.0. It's fractionally quicker than Thibaut, a little bit quicker than Stepan Antonov, but Dzitiev all over the back of Sala. So this could be a 3-horse race. Ramaekers in the VDK, Antonov in the KR, and Wherrell in the Forza. This is going to be an interesting one for the 3 drivers as they push clear. Still some good battles all the way through the field, and a lot of great racing still to come in this one. But just 28 drivers still running it, as we have lost Kaczynski, Soleil, Costoya, Kamiab, Albag, Marty, Mins, and Pazel after their first lap shenanigans. But what an interesting battle it is now as we come up to the end of lap 5, and Thibaut Ramaekers still hanging on from Antonov and Wherrell. The gap between them is 0.9 of a second. Antonov falling into the clutches of Wherrell, though.
Yes, indeed. He's got to be careful as the pack is starting to form up. There's Zach Drummond just behind as well. This is going to be a crucial one as he dives down the inside and nearly gets his nose cut off there from Dzitiev. Dzitiev, lucky he didn't spin there into the corner as Monteiro with the fastest lap of the race. Zach Drummond now also under pressure from just behind. He's got to be careful. All of them have got to be careful through here because Van Langendonck is a driver who likes to go for moves, as an overtake just there on the corner of the screen.
That was, I think, Jack Iliffe getting the move on the inside of Salim Hadar as we watch Dzitiev battling his way with Sala once again.
Yeah, and Sala straight away back on it. He's really good at getting that switchback move on them again.
Yeah, he can read the situation quite well, but Niklas Schaufler has split them, and now he's going up the inside of Sala. Great run from Niklas Schaufler. The Austrian going so well at this point, but he holds up Sala. This is going to be the chance for Dzitiev to get back up the inside and go with Schaufler. Sala round the outside, trying to hold it. Beautifully done from Sala. Hangs on from Dzitiev.
Yeah, that was incredible kart control to hang that round the outside. I thought he was going to understeer completely off the circuit, but like you say, that's where the fresher tyres come into play. They can do things like that now in the stage of this race, so really well handled. Antonov with the fastest lap of the race. What is that gap? It's still there, 0.4 of a second, but it is creeping down a little bit more now. It could get interesting at the front. We're about half race distances down the inside. Brilliant move there from Salim Hadar on Jack Iliffe. Gets through and moves up in towards P9.
And Monteiro picks up a couple there as well. He's picked up Lindblom and also Bondarev. So Monteiro working his way forward, the Portuguese driver. Across the line, Ramaekers, Antonov, Wherrell. The gap down to 9/10. 3/10 between Ramaekers and Antonov alone. This could get interesting. Oh, and that's it off at the final bend. That is the 48. That is Aksoy.
Yeah, Alp Aksoy, who was running so well in this race, now sees himself broken, stopped at the side of the circuit. What a disaster.
Well, Alp Aksoy trying to fight his way further forward. He's made a massive step forward in terms of his overall speed, but unfortunately the luck not with him today here in Valencia. As they come down the short stretch again, let's have a look at how it happened. Down into the braking zone, Aksoy.
Oh, it was a mistake.
He just lost it under brakes. Yeah. And unfortunately, the back end kicked out. He wasn't able really to do anything about it. He has got going again, but unfortunately, Aksoy now down in 28th and dead last.
Yep, and that's a big dent in that front nose cone. I suspect that might be a 5-second time penalty as well when he comes back into the pit lane for the drop nose cone. Ramaekers, though, still leads. Very closely behind, though, is Antonov. Further back, still Wherrell on his own, bit of a no man's land. Then there's this battle here, Schaufler, Sala and Dzitiev. Dzitiev still not able to get past Sala. He had the opportunity earlier on where he got held up by Schaufler, did Sala. Dzitiev tried, brilliant control by Sala to go round the outside at turn 1, but now Dzitiev just needs to find that gap, but Sala's not making it easy here, is he?
Certainly is not. As Dzitiev closes in then on Filippo Sala once again, there's Guy Albag's kart having brought it back to the pits. And already the long drive home begins for Guy Albag and the Forza team in number 18. But number 16 is still going strong. Lewis Wherrell bangs in the fastest first sector of anybody in this race. There's a long way still to go as far as he and the team are concerned. And they are still pushing. Wherrell actually the fastest driver on track at the moment. Not just with the fastest lap last time, but looking like a fastest lap this time as well. Schaufler, 4th position. Here they come again. The gap is a second. Half between Ramaekers and Antonov. Half between Antonov and Wherrell. Halfway home. 9 done, 9 left.
This is the biggest gap it's been so far between first and second. So maybe Antonov not with the full outright pace that he needs here. Sector 1 on that last lap. Thibaut Ramaekers, purple, Sector 1. He has pulled the pin in that car and is starting to open that gap up once again. This is great stuff from Thibaut Ramaekers. We were worried that he wasn't going to be able to do this. May have had the pressure from the fact that he lost out in the superheat from Wherrell, but of course he had the satisfaction of an entire perfect day on Saturday to really boost his confidence going into this final, and it seems to have done the trick.
It all depends on whether Stepan Antonov has enough left in the tank later on. Has he been able to look after the tyres enough in second place to have a real attack on him later? As long as he stays within half a second, he's still got a shot of this victory. And Lewis Wherrell just staying calm and cautious in 3rd position. Remember how he won the Miami World Finals back in 2020 in Adria? He managed to fight his corner and get himself into position 2021, I should actually say, in Adria. But he managed to stay there right to the line and then snatched it at the death. It's still very doable indeed here for Lewis Wherrell. Schaufler in 4th, Sala in 5th, then Dzitiev, Drummond, Van Langendonck, Hanna, Iliffe, and then Fardin, Monteiro, Wolf, Lindblom and Thantharden. But this is the battle further back. Zach Drummond, 7th position in front of Van Langendonck and Hanna, and then Jack Iliffe, the American, in 10th place.
Alexander Bondarev there in 16th place. He's not had the best start to this final, which is a big shame. Superstar yesterday with that fantastic finish, looking like he was one of the favourites into this final.
It's just
not panned out, has it?
No, it's just been a difficult start. The thing is, he was a little too far down the order for my liking, and certainly not where he would have wanted to start the final from either. So obviously, once you're in the cannon fodder, it's very hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's had 1 or 2 drivers send it up the inside, and it's just scrubbed off the momentum. So he's had to try and fight his corner to come back again. He's not the only one struggling. Davide Bottaro has lost ground as well. So too has Jacopo Martinezzi and Alfie Slater. So there's still a few laps left, and there's still a chance for things to change. Antonov gets the fastest lap of the race in, 55.920, brings the gap down to 4/10. Antonov's not done yet. Ramaekers still trying to ramp away, but Antonov is keeping him honest. This is going to be a battle of the wills as to whose tyres hang on the longest.
I think, yeah, because right now, because it's that they've all got the fresh set, it's really just a game of who can use their tyres the most, really, isn't it? Just use every single last scrape of it as you make your way around the circuit. The times tumble, but the temperature has soared, though. We're at 25 degrees. It's gone up even 2 degrees since the start of this race. It's gone up. Well, that'll have a huge factor on this one. So this is a little further down the order. This is a replay.
Bondarev hopping over the curves.
Yeah.
That's why he's lost the momentum.
Down.
It's so easy to do, and you only miss it by maybe half an inch, and then you end up going skywards. And that's a really difficult situation that could even have, you know, done a little bit of damage to the underside of the chassis.
Yeah.
Could have bent the frame a little bit as well. You can do that at a big impact. Now, Ramaekers moving away from Antonov. The gap up to 7/10 now. Wherrell, 7/10 further back. This is the year for Thibaut Ramaekers if he can keep this kind of pace forward through the season. But he's definitely starting to make impacts now. Antonov needs to stay with him, but the gap is opening up. Thibaut Ramaekers is ramping up the pace.
Yeah. What must be going through Antonov's mind right now? He's probably just thinking, I can't catch him. What is he doing different than what I'm doing? I mean, they're both on the same chassis, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Yeah, so, you know, it falls down to really, yeah, it is a race of the wills here as they go through. Lewis Wherrell, though, is slowly creeping in, but it looked like it was a bit wide there going in. It was a very late apex. Maybe the optimal line he likes to take.
5 laps to go for him. He's still got a chance to close up on Antonov. But these guys really are stretching the limits of what's possible in these karts on this circuit. And the fact that the temperature is going up so rapidly will definitely be playing its part. Because obviously the data they've carried into this one, they'll know it's going to be hotter, but I don't think they'll have anticipated it increasing in temperature during the course of the race itself. It's actually accelerating the heat. Now here comes Van Langendonck, all over the back of Jack Iliffe. So Iliffe has managed to get through and make the overtake. He now tucks up behind Zach Drummond. Noah Monteiro, who is up to 10th position from 23rd on the grid. A brilliant comeback from the Portuguese driver. And that will put him a lot more in terms of the championship points. Ramaekers is looking to leave here with the maximum of 80. Antonov on 70, Wherrell on 56, Dzitiev on 52. As we begin the Euro Series title fight in earnest. But Drummond still battling away here with Iliffe. Then Van Langendonck, Monteiro, Fardin, Hanna, Lindblom, Wolf and Thuntharen.
Yep. Again, more big movers in this field as well. 20th and 21st place, you've got Augustus Toniolo and Alphonse Mittenen. Both of them, 15 positions they've gained so far in this race. So they have pushed through this field quite considerably, which is good to see. A little bit more work ahead of them, though. Not many laps left to go. And, well, Ramaekers, that gap, look at it, over a second now, 1.1. He has been unstoppable this weekend.
I think Antonov has thrown everything he possibly can at it.
Just looking at that front bumper, actually, on
Is that
Jack Iliffe.
Is that Jack Iliffe's kart?
It's very much bent in there.
I mean, bent in doesn't necessarily mean loose.
No.
So
no.
you might be able to get away with that one, but it does look a little bit of a different shape to the way they are supposed to be.
Definitely not how the manufacturer intended it to look, no.
Now, Wherrell senses Antonov struggling. 3 laps to go. You can't catch him, can you? At least we'll have to go for second place. And that's how frustrating it was for Antonov, having got through past Thibaut Ramaekers on the first lap. He got him. He had him. He had his opportunity, but he just let it slip on the exit of the chicane. And that was all the invitation Thibaut Ramaekers needed to take it back, the decisive moment in this final.
Yeah, it really was one of those moments. But again, that can happen in these finals. You know, you think, yes, you've made the move, and you think, right, okay, take the normal line now, take the optimal line, carry the most speed. And sometimes you can just leave yourself vulnerable to attack, and that is exactly what we saw. Ramaekers took full advantage of that one. And like you say, now can just drive away in this final. I was slightly worried that this was going to happen. Thibaut Ramaekers, he's not worried about that this has happened. He is happy as Larry right now. He is driving around cool, calm and collected with, I'm sure, a big smile on his face.
Well, considering the last 3 seasons of his karting, Thibaut Ramaekers seems to have been the kid who has a magnificent run in qualifying, some great performances across the heats, but then it all falls to pieces in the final. This is finally putting his demons to sleep. He has a great chance now to start his 2023 campaign the way he deserves to for once. He's had nothing short of bad luck over the last 3 years, and he's had flashes of brilliance, amazing opportunities to do something spectacular, and it all falls apart at the last. Stepan Antonov still trying to throw everything he can at it. There's only a second to make up, but he's got a lap and a half to do it. He's running out of time. Lewis Wherrell trying to take him on, but it looks like it's going to be stalemate between these 3. But it would be so nice for Thibaut Ramaekers to finally get a victory in OK Junior here in Valencia. 1 lap to go, and it finally looks as though Lady Luck is going to pay him a long overdue visit.
Yeah, it was a solid Saturday, perfect heats all the way throughout. The start of Sunday didn't go all his way, finished P2 after losing out to Lewis Wherrell in his super heat. But come the final, it's all worked out once again. From flag to flag, essentially, only lost the lead for about half a lap, retook it, and has been absolutely solid. The gap, 1.1 seconds to himself and Stepan Antonov. Started on pole, had the inside line, and has maintained that throughout the entirety of these 18 laps.
Thibaut Ramaekers has led all but about 8 laps of this weekend. It's been absolutely phenomenal. The Belgian is going to come through for VDK Racing, for Belgium, and for everyone watching. He has dominated. Thibaut Ramaekers wins in Valencia in the Champions of the Future Euro Series opener of the OKJ final. Monstrous pace, dominant form. Catch me if you can, fellas. Absolutely exemplary. And finally, Thibaut Ramaekers gets to celebrate in style for once.
Yes, indeed. Lewis Wherrell drives past, congratulates. So does Stepan Antonov. But 18 laps of racing. My goodness me.
He's going to savor this. He's going to soak it up.
Soak it all up, Thibaut. You deserve it.
Obviously, he collects the marbles, which they do, to obviously make sure that they are going to be fine and dandy when they get back to the pits. But Thibaut Ramaekers can really finally soak this up. He's always so miserable at the end of Sunday afternoon. All that potential, all of that speed, it just fades away because it just all falls apart at the seams. Not today. Finally, Thibaut Ramaekers dominates the way he deserves to, gets the victory he deserves, and now 2023 has kicked off in exactly the perfect manner for Thibaut. A brilliant run.
It has indeed. He kickstarts the championship then with 80 championship points at the end of this round from Stepan Antonov, 70. Lewis Wherrell rounds it out with the 56 points. There's a look then at the provisional classification results. At the end of that one, of course, they will head to the pit lane for scrutineering. Nose cone checks, of course. But Thibaut Ramaekers, Stepan Antonov and Lewis Wherrell, your top 3. A brilliant result.
Niklas Schaufler in P4 from Kirill Dzitiev and Filippo Sala. Zach Drummond ahead of Jack Iliffe, then Kian Fardin, Dries Van Langendonck and Noah Monteiro, 11th from 23rd on the grid. Noah Wolf in 12th from Salim Hanna, Scott Lindblom and Davide Bottaro. Alex Bondarev just missing out on the points from Raoul Thantharin and Sebastian Letimaki, who made great comebacks. Vivek Kanthan and Augustus Toniolo from Alphonse Mittinen and Scott Marsh. Then Alfie Slater, Jacopo Martinese, Arjen Kraling, Maria Nito, Nikita Nikishov, and the last man home was Alp Aksoy. Retirements galore though. Kaczynski, Saleh, Kostoya, Kamyab, Albag, Marty, Mins, and Pazel all out on the first lap or even before it in Kaczynski's case. But it's so nice to see Thibaut Ramaekers finally get the top spot of the podium. He's a very quiet young man, a very shy youngster. He doesn't really show too many emotions unless things are going wrong. But finally, Thibaut Ramaekers gets to savor victory. This is going to be, I hope, a bit of a game changer for the young Belgian. He really deserves it. He works so hard, and the VDK youngster comes through to win OKJ. This is a lovely private little moment here as Thibaut Ramaekers gets to savor it. It's been such a long road to get to this point, all through the mini years, all through the X30 years where he's had so many frustrations in junior over the last 2 seasons. But finally, when it counts in OKJ, Thibaut Ramaekers finally gets the win he deserves.
Yeah, he'll be soaking this one up now as he heads to scrutineering. Here's a look then at some of the replays then at the end of that one. And again, it was a beautiful start from Thibaut Ramaekers, but again, you saw Stepan Antonov, who held it around the outside, slotted into second place, was a beautiful run, and then immediately took the lead in towards turn 3. This is where, of course, Stepan Antonov was thinking, right, now I need to just try and defend this one, but then left the gap open there on the exit immediately. So as soon as he lost it, then, of course, this huge collection of karts at the start on the first lap. And never a nice thing to see. Luckily, all the drivers getting out, some in a small amount of discomfort, but crucially, the majority okay. Then this battle that happened out on circuit, Kirill Dzitiev and Filippo Sala. Filippo just having the edge on Dzitiev. Then, of course, Schaufler came through. There was a question mark over Schaufler because he was under investigation at the start of this race. We were not sure what it was for. Then, at that point, he then held up Filippo Sala as Dzitiev tried to go down the inside and failed to do so. Zach Drummond then came into the fray. The same with Jack Iliffe. Then we had this spin earlier on at the end, and that saw a retirement as well for Alpak Soy, who unfortunately ended that one at the side of the track. Then the battle between Drummond and his teammate, Jack Iliffe, the two Parolin Motorsport drivers who fought all the way throughout. But no one could match the pace of the young Belgian driver, Thibaut Ramaekers, in the 55, who wins the first round of the Champions of the Future. And as you can imagine, incredibly happy with that one.
Congratulations to our 3 drivers on the podium. We will now welcome our guests to present the trophies. Firstly, for Cartodromo Lucas Guerrero, Lucas himself will come forward to present the trophies to our drivers in 3rd and 2nd. Firstly, for 3rd position, for the United Kingdom, Lewis Wherrell. And to our driver in 2nd position, for Italy, Stepan Antonov. And now we welcome our distinguished guest, the FIA European Vice President, Manuel Avignon, will come forward to present our winning team and driver with their trophies. Firstly, to our winning driver for Belgium, Thibaut Ramaekers. And also to our winning team manager after a fabulous run for the VDK Racing team, ladies and gentlemen, Kian Fardin. And so we go for a team shot of the 3 drivers on the podium and the winning team manager. Let's see if we can get all 3 of the drivers together on the top spot, or as close to the top spot as possible. Squeeze in, boys. There we go. Kenny, you can get in there as well, of course, a winning team manager. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. A fabulous final shot of the OK Junior Final top 3. Lewis Wherrell, Stepan Antonov, and your race winner, Thibaut Ramaekers. And after a fabulous day in the Spanish sun, it's time for a little bit of a fiesta as the drivers get to party in style, as the boys get busy with a fizzy! A brilliant celebration for our 3 drivers on the rostrum. Terrific stuff as they really soak in the spoils. Lewis Wherrell, Stepan Antonov, and Thibaut Ramaekers, your race winner in OK Junior. Amazing stuff. I'm going to go in there and grab a quick word with our race winner, Thibaut Ramaekers. What a fantastic performance. Thibaut, en français, what an amazing race from you from start to finish. Controlled the pace once you got back into the lead. Just describe the race for us.
Oui, c'est une très belle course. J'ai eu un peu de mal au départ, mais après c'est parti. J'ai fait le gap. Et j'ai gagné, donc c'est super.
So, moving on now to the next round of the championship, how are you feeling?
Je me sens bien pour le prochain week-end. J'espère faire aussi bien que ce week-end-ci et je pense que je peux le faire, donc on verra.
Fantastic. Merci beaucoup. Ladies and gentlemen, Thibaut Ramaekers!